Back in the book segment tonight, in a bold, fresh move, the government of China publicly stated that President Obama should not meet with the Dalai Lama here in the USA later this month. Can you believe that? Also, China will not participate in sanctions against Iran. Joining us from Washington, our political mastermind, Charles Krauthammer. So, Charles, what don't we know about these Chinese actions? What's behind the scenes here?
Well, first of all, the Chinese get 15% of their oil from Iran. Chinese state enterprises have over 100 billion invested in Iran. The Chinese also have pushed us around on a lot of other issues. We made a sale of arms to Taiwan, which we've been doing for 30 years. They responded by suspending military cooperation with us. They responded with a lot of threats about sanctions against the companies that sell the arms. But even worse, just yesterday in one of the Chinese news agencies published remarks from a couple of their top generals advocating that they start dumping dollars as a way to injure the economy of the United States. So this is rough stuff. The Chinese are playing hardball with us.
Well, they're being very bellicose. There's no doubt about it. Now, China has a history of backing away from provocations that they themselves conjure up. But the audacity, to use President Obama's word, of telling a sitting American president who he can talk to and who he can't talk to, I mean, that is really, really pushing it, is it not?
It is, but what's worse is our reaction. The Chinese are giving orders all the time, but American presidents ignore them or walk away. The Chinese warned us about the Dalai Lama, and the president did not meet before his visit to China. He will now, but he postponed it. Well, that's a concession that he didn't have to make.
Well, when you say he didn't have to make it, though, I'm going to put you in the Oval Office. I mean, these guys can really damage America, particularly economically right now. So if you can, kind of skate on the Dalai Lama for a few months and then welcome him in Washington, isn't it worth doing?
I think you're vastly overestimating their strength and their clout. Yes, they are strong. But look, you know the old adage, if you owe the bank $1 million, you're in trouble. If you owe the bank $1 billion, the bank's in trouble. If the Chinese begin dumping the dollars, it's going to ruin their economy, and it will ruin the value of all the other dollars the Chinese are holding. And remember, it is a lot of money, but it's only 1/10 of our external debt, and the total amount of dollars that the Chinese are holding is a large amount, 800 billion, but it's less than the amount that we sprinkled on our economy and gave away in the stimulus package alone last year. It is not the end of the world, and it doesn't give it a stranglehold over our economy. Yes, we are dependent on the Chinese, but the Chinese are dependent on us. If they order us around, you call the bluff, and you'll see, as you said, they have done it in the past, but they will fold.
Okay. Now, how do you handle the Iranian situation, which is really coming to critical mass very quickly? As you pointed out, a $100 billion investment in Iran, the Chinese have. They don't want to change anything about what Iran is doing. They apparently don't care if they get if they get a nuclear weapon or not. So, if you're President Obama, is there any hope that these people will come on board with the sanctions?
No. The Chinese will not help us on sanctions. Any sanctions that requires the Chinese approval will be weak and meaningless. What they'll try to do is to get at least something out of Security Council. Even if it's weak and meaningless, they assume that it will give legitimacy to other sanctions that we will take unilaterally with the Europeans or even ourselves, which will have a lot of bite. The problem is that we are late in the game. Obama has wasted a year plus on negotiations that everybody knew in advance were going nowhere. So I think the day for sanctions is long gone. Our only hope of getting anywhere on the nuclear issue is if there's a change in regime. There is going to be huge demonstrations in the streets in 2 days. That's the 31st anniversary of the regime's revolution. And our policy ought to be to do everything that we can, overtly, secretly, clandestinely, rhetorically, and any other way, to assist a revolution on the ground. Otherwise, Iran will go nuclear.
Okay. Charles, thanks very much. As always, Penance and Patriots on deck tonight, starring some Olympic athletes in bikinis. And it is the Winter Olympics. And a berserk weatherman. There he is. He's not berserk there, but wait till you see him. Right back with P&P.